Hello everyone, this is Jason from Iron Mission. I wanted to share with you a couple of roads in Texas that I think are must-ride roads if you are in that state. Many of you have heard of the famed Twisted Sisters in Texas, and I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about a couple of other roads that I think are going to give you all of the beauty like you're seeing here, and they are really, really awesome. If you have never been to Texas, sometimes we think of it as just this dry, dusty sort of state. And I'm going to be honest, I thought it was that way as well because I've been to Texas a number of times, but it's usually going to Dallas or somewhere on the eastern side of Texas. And there's not really much there to look at besides a lot of traffic, and there's not much going on. But once you get a little bit west of Dallas, we were actually in San Antonio. We had a great time, me and a buddy of mine. And so this is one of the roads that I think you absolutely need to see if you are in the state of Texas. It is Route 16, and we took that road pretty much from from San Antonio all the way up to Fredericksburg. Here you can see a route. It's a little over an hour and 20 minutes from just north of San Antonio. So we were, when we started this road, a little bit north. Now this is, for the most part, a road that has really beautiful scenery. You can see the Texas hills off in the distance, lots of trees, lots of greenery, almost no traffic. We rode this road a couple of times, once during the week and once on the weekend. During the week, it was pretty much there was nobody there, and we rode a little bit towards dusk. Lots and lots of animals on these roads, so please be a little bit careful here if you're going to be riding this really early in the morning or later at night. Just be prepared that you have the animal situation to deal with. Overall, the road was in very, very good shape. Again, we're dealing with the Texas heat here, and so you never quite know what you're going to get. But this road, Route 16, when we rode it in 2025, was in great shape. No real surprises there. We didn't have a whole lot of potholes or cracks or tar strips. There wasn't really a whole lot of gravel or anything like that. Just keep in mind, these roads can get really hot in the middle of summer. Now, we were here in June, and the temperatures did climb into the mid to upper 90s. We had a heat index of around 110, and so make sure you have good tires. I think that is one of the main points. If you're going to be riding a motorcycle in the extreme heat like we're doing here, you really want to have good tires. Speed limits. Speed limits are all over the place on this road. Some of the turns, they can go down to 10 to 20 miles an hour. Some of more of the open straights, you might see 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. For the most part, when I first started riding this road, I would have ranked it in terms of a level of difficulty somewhere around a 3 or 4. There really wasn't a whole lot there. But then we got to this stretch right here. And this stretch right here, well, it changed things a little bit because we started to deal with some elevation, some sharp turns, and some switchbacks and things like that. And so while the road, yeah, it is a pretty relaxing ride, this one area here, I think, boosts it into the land of a 6 or 7. It's not, this stretch here is not necessarily something I would recommend for beginners just because of the tight turns and the fact that you are dealing with elevation. Like I said, this is a great road. There was not a lot of traffic. Nobody really coming into our lanes or anything like that, something you would see like if you're in Sturgis or if you're on Tail of the Dragon. We really got to watch out for other drivers. There just weren't that many drivers. Now, you do have to keep in mind on Route 16, there is gas. There is gas available. There's a number of small towns, and so you don't really have to worry about that. But I would definitely, when you're in these parts of Texas, there really isn't a lot there. So you just want to make sure that when you have the opportunity to fill up with a full tank of gas, take the opportunity. Check over your bike. Make sure everything is okay. Because when you're on some of these more remote roads, sometimes you don't see cars for a little while, and if you've got a lot of extreme heat, bike breaks down, something like that, just be prepared. We had lots of water with us, some food, just because you never know. It's just a good idea to be prepared. But this is around, like I said, it's around a 60-mile stretch or so of some just absolutely gorgeous scenery that I think if you're in the Texas area, why not take advantage of it? You do see some wild animals from time to time. There are what appeared to be maybe some hunting reserves, because we saw some animals that just normally aren't in big groups, just kind of wandering around the countryside in the state of Texas. So this was one of them. Now, the other one I want to show you is awesome as well. This next one, it was all part of a day ride that we did coming from San Antonio, working our way towards Dallas. We started this one in Marble Falls and basically rode it through Jonestown, which is just west of Austin, Texas. This is Route 1431, and it is awesome for a couple of reasons. One, you're going to get some elevation there. You're going to see some of the Texas hills. A lot of greenery. Again, you're going to see some wildlife, and it's a really nice, smooth road. And so the road is in pretty darn good condition. And again, this is another one where Marble Falls has places to eat. There's gas stops. By the time you get to Jonestown, there's going to be plenty of gas for you and places to eat there as well. And so this one's not quite as long as Route 16. Didn't take quite as long. When we rode this ride, when we were there in June, it was when Texas was getting a lot, and I mean a lot of rain, and so we rode through some crazy stuff. There were flash floods and high winds and all kinds of stuff, and as we were riding on this road, a pretty heavy storm moved in, and again, there was some elevation here, so you got to be a little bit careful. In terms of like a scale to 1 to 10, how difficult is this road to ride? I would not say it's overly difficult. There were no really super sharp turns. There was some elevation that you have to deal with. Again, I'm not necessarily sure this is a road where you'd want a beginner to ride this ride, but somewhere in around the 5 or so, 5 out of 10 range is probably pretty good, 5 or 6. It's not just straight lines. You are going to have some turns and some curves, and so that's kind of nice, but nothing extreme. Again, we're not dealing with Tail of the Dragon. We're not dealing with some of the roads you see in Sturgis or anything like that, but it's just nice scenery. Now, this road, we rode this one on the weekend, and it was a little bit more heavily traveled than probably it would be during the middle of the week, but certainly there were more cars on this road than there were on Route 16, which I showed you earlier. So just be a little bit aware of that. There's going to be a little bit more traffic. Not a lot in terms of crossroads and businesses and things like that. Again, it's for the most part, you're in some of the Texas wilderness, which is pretty cool. You're getting a lot of the greenery. Again, the road's in good shape. I would put this road somewhere in the 7 or 8 out of 10. It was smooth, no potholes, no tar strips, not a lot of rocks or sand or anything like that on the road. So a pretty easy, nice ride. I can't recommend enough. If you get a chance, stop in Marble Falls, get something to eat, fill up, take this. You're going to be in great shape. But again, in that Texas heat, if you're riding anywhere from May through September, be prepared. Have your water, have a snack or something like that. Just so that in case something happens, these roads get hot. And I mentioned that earlier in the video. But if you're dealing with, like we were on this day, temperatures that were 96, 97 before all those clouds moved in, that road can be 120, 130, 140 degrees. And so that can be a little bit rough on tires. And so you just want to make sure your tires are in good shape. I know I mentioned that earlier. Just want to reiterate it once again. But like I said, if you're in the state of Texas, Route 16, definitely go through Fredericksburg. Definitely, if you've got a special somebody with you who likes to go shopping or anything like that, I think they will really enjoy that part of it. But it's 2 roads that you can ride that are going to give you a little bit of visual appeal. They're going to be nice. They're going to be in pretty darn good shape. There's things to do once you finish the ride. Would love to hear from you. If you've ridden through Texas before, are there any must-ride roads for you as well? As always, thank you so much for being here. Ride safe, everyone.